Well, good morning, everyone. Your worship, Chief Collins, ladies and gentlemen. You know how they say it takes a village to raise a child? Remember that? It takes a village to raise a child? Well, I was that child. Many, many years ago, but I was that child. I've been to Thunder Bay many times, but I grew up in an exotic, faraway place you may have heard of, Sault Ste. Marie. Only in Canada could two cities on the same lake be 700 kilometers apart. One of the many things I've learned as Governor General is just how big this country is. And I've learned something else too, how caring it is. And that's what I want to talk about today. How caring Thunder Bay is. How caring your communities across northern and northwestern Ontario are, and how caring you are. My briefing material for this visit included a list of your volunteer organizations. They're dedicated to health, homelessness, youth, public safety, the arts, heritage, diversity, sports, to name just a few. Je suis heureux d'être parmi des gens généreux qui se soucient des autres. Et je tiens à vous dire merci, merci pour ce que vous faites pour votre région et votre communauté. Let me encourage you to keep on doing what you're doing and go further and spread the message across the country. It may be thankless, it may be hard work, it may seem like you're getting nowhere, but it's so important. I often tell a story about that. People wince a little bit in my staff and say, now he's departed from his notes. But it's a Mother Teresa story. Sharon and I lived in Montreal, and Mother Teresa was there one year for the Greater Montreal prayer breakfast. And about 50 of us gathered with her before the breakfast, and one of our neighbors said to her, Mother Teresa, we're so moved by your extraordinary work, what can we do to help? And I, being a university president of some years, thought she would say, we'll send a large check to my settlement operation in Calcutta, India, and we'll do good work with it. She said, look in your own neighborhoods. Look in your own home. I guarantee you there's someone there who needs your care and love. And after she gave her breakfast address, which we found very moving, 4 newspapers in Montreal that covered it. 3 of them were very laudatory, said this is a remarkable woman. The 4th was a newspaper that I guess practiced what you call realpolitik in journalism, to kind of see things very dispassionately, unemotionally. Began by saying, this is a wonderful woman and she'll probably be canonized by the Roman Catholic Church, as she later was. But let's be practical. She runs a settlement house, a place for homeless people that looks after perhaps 200 people in Calcutta. A city of 20 million people, over half of whom live in the most abject poverty you could ever imagine. In a country of 1 billion people, half of whom live in terrible, terrible circumstances. What she does, laudatory as it is just a drop in the bucket when you look at it on a relative scale. Well, that bothered me for the longest time, and I was at a birthday party. We had 5 daughters. And children said to me after the birthday party, Dad, you know, you tell ghost stories to try to scare the kids at your birthday party. They know you're lying, and they only pretend to be scared because they know your feelings would be hurt if they didn't pretend to be scared. Why can't you be like Dean McFarland? He does magic at birthday parties. Dean McFarland was the dean of the School of Journalism at Western University, and I was the dean of law, and I thought, bloody Andy McFarland showing me up. So I went to a birthday party, and there was Andrew the Magnificent with the great cape and the top hat, and he had a wand and a mustache like this, and he was doing magic, and the kids were enthralled. And he picked up a glass of water. He said, I will turn this water into wine. Now, be careful, Andy, the last time that was done 2,000 years ago was done by someone who's a little more influence than you do. And I was over here where Alex is standing in uniform, and I was watching his sleeves. A glass of water in one hand. He dropped a drop of red vegetable dye from an eyedropper into the glass of water. Presented it to everyone again, clear water, a little drop of red there, and then he said abracadabra, and he swirled it around. And the beautiful, clear, liquid water turned a wonderful shade of rosé. And I thought, that's the drop in the bucket that the newspaper was talking about in a cynical way. And up to this moment, I had been looking at it as a matter of physics or mathematics. Relative volume in the glass, the red dot being quite insignificant in proportion of the whole thing. I should have looked at it as chemical engineering, because once that one molecule, one drop of red dye had its redness interact with the clear molecules of water and turn them into the shade of fluids. And that's what happens with your acts of kindness and caring. They spread like that drop of water, and they change the whole culture of the community and the city in which you're operating. And that's why it's important. I would know about this because, as I said, I was raised with the help of my village. I grew up in a very, very modest household. House not unlike many here in Thunder Bay. I took for my first job at age 9 as a paper boy. When I was 10, I got a job at a drugstore unpacking merchandise. And at 11, I started working in a garage where I learned to type and order car parts, and that made me not indispensable, but rather important. And don't tell anyone, but I also learned to drive that year when I was 11. It was only around the lot, and I had to look Keith for the policeman coming around the corner, and I'll just interject to tell you a lovely story. I would look up and down the street and put the car out in the parking lot in front of the street. And one morning I did that, and the policeman in uniform was coming in around the corner just as I got out of the car. And he came over to me, and I don't know why I had this, the jig is up. He put his arm around my shoulder and he says, "Son," he said, "we know what you're doing. And we come here at 15 minutes on the hour and 45 minutes on the hour. Please be sure you're not out in the street driving cars at those times." Growing up in a community like this, I participated in every extracurricular activity you wanted to name: baseball, football, hockey, student council, etc. And having that job and being useful meant I could sort of create my own hours. I could come in after 6 o'clock, and as long as I got the envelope with the inventory, parts that I typed out, and the warranty for the cars to the train station by 9 o'clock when the last post went out, I was fine. And so much kindness that I received. Another story I'll tell you, and I'll leave you with this one, is like any boy growing up in Sault Ste. Marie, where you learn to skate before you learn to walk. I loved hockey. And on a particular Friday night, our team was playing in the indoor arena, which was a big deal because there was only one indoor arena in 1954 in Sault Ste. Marie. And it was a Friday night, and a scout from Toronto Maple Leafs, chief. There's a very, very enduring, tolerant man, a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. And I had never had a piece of new equipment. I had third, fourth hand-me-down equipment. And the owner of a sporting goods store rang my home the day before the game and says, "Come in an hour before the game, I've got something for you." And I came in and he gave me a new pair of skates. First time I'd ever had a piece of equipment. Well, I'll tell you, I scored 3 goals that night, and it was all the skates. It was that kindness of that man I'll never forget. He wasn't a man of great wealth. He was of modest means too, but he cared. And that's what it was like being a kid growing up in a northern Ontario city. It felt pretty good. I believe this. As much as those new skates helped, it was that man's faith in my abilities, I think, that helped me on the ice that night, and you could call that a sort of home ice advantage. But all of you are creating home ice advantages in your own communities. You're doing it every time you volunteer an hour at a homeless shelter or a hospice, every time you give some food to a neighbor or money to a good cause, every time you mentor a young kid or tutor a refugee in a new language. Vous accomplissez un travail incroyable et si important. Un travail qui fait du Canada un endroit si spécial. Et c'est pourquoi vous méritez le prix du gouverneur général pour l'entraide. We're presenting the Caring Canadian Awards today to some remarkable people to recognize your extraordinary efforts. Little drops of red dye that so change the culture of our communities. First, though, I'm looking forward to hearing from you in the discussion that follows, because something else I've learned in this job is that in a country as vast as Canada, and you all know about this in northwestern Ontario, there are no cookie-cutter solutions. I want to hear about the unique challenges you face and how we can rise to meet them. So let's have a frank and open discussion among friends. Merci de nous recevoir dans notre communauté. Thank you for being people who care. Merci.